is the one constant we are told we can trust. The clock ticks, the earth spins, the days pass. The years pile behind us like bricks in a wall. We are taught that time is linear, steady, and unchangeable. But what if that is a lie? What if time itself is not fixed, but shifting under our feet? What if the acceleration of life that nearly everyone feels is not just perception, but a real, measurable phenomenon? What if our reality is being compressed, sped up, and manipulated before our very eyes? This is not a simple question of memory or of how the human brain ages. K is a conspiracy that touches physics, prophecy, technology, and even the occult. Tonight, we step into one of the most unsettling mysteries of our age. This is the time speeding up theory. Ask around, and you will hear the same thing over and over again. Time feels different now. Children once had summers that seemed endless. Adults once experienced years that felt full and long. Now, entire seasons vanish in a blink. Whole years pass before we realize it. Skeptics dismiss this as psychology. The older you get, the less a single year matters in proportion to your whole life. But this explanation fails to account for one fact. Even children today are saying the same thing. There is a sense of quickening, a universal perception that reality itself has picked up speed. For many, this is not just a feeling, it is an instinct. Something deep inside whispers that the clock is not keeping honest time. The idea of shortened time is not new. It is ancient. In the Gospel of Matthew 24:22, it is written, "Unless those days had been shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened." Many prophecy watchers point to this verse as a warning that in the last days, the very fabric of time would collapse. The Mayan calendar is another clue. Scholars said it ended in 2012. But what if the Mayans were not predicting the end of the world, but the end of time as we knew it? Researchers argue that 2012 marked the beginning of an accelerated cycle, where the spiral of history tightens and events come faster and faster. The Hopi spoke of a time of quickening. Ancient Hindu texts describe cycles of time called yugas that eventually collapse into shorter intervals before a cosmic reset. Prophecies across cultures share the same theme. In the end, time itself will not remain steady. One of the most cited scientific anchors of this theory is the Schumann resonance. This is Earth's natural electromagnetic pulse, a low hum in the atmosphere created by lightning in the cavity between Earth and ionosphere. For decades, it held steady at 7.83 Hertz. That number became known as the heartbeat of the planet. But in recent years, reports emerged that the Schumann resonance has spiked. Some claim it has jumped to 12 Hertz, 20 Hertz, even higher. If true, then the rhythm of the planet itself has accelerated. And since humans are biological beings tuned to Earth's frequency, our perception of time might accelerate with it. Imagine reality as a record spinning on a turntable. If the record speeds up, so does the song. Humanity, tied to the Earth's frequency, might be experiencing the same compression. Mainstream science downplays these spikes. Some argue they are misreadings, artifacts, or temporary storms. But conspiracy theorists suspect a cover-up. If the planet's heartbeat is racing, the implications are staggering. It is true that the Earth's rotation is not perfectly stable. Scientists record tiny fluctuations, milliseconds gained or lost each year. Sometimes a leap second is added to atomic clocks to keep them in sync. But what if these small adjustments are hiding a larger change? Some argue the Earth is spinning faster than before. The shortest day ever recorded was in 2020, when the planet completed its rotation milliseconds quicker than the standard 24 hours. Skeptics shrugged it off as natural variation. But what if this trend continues? A faster spin means shorter days. The clocks may still read 24 hours, but the reality behind the measurement would be changing. It would mean the planet itself is rushing forward, dragging humanity with it. Evidence of time distortion may already be all around us. The Mandela effect is one of the strangest modern phenomena. Millions of people swear they remember different versions of history. Did Mandela die in the 1980s or the 2010s? Was it Berenstein or Berenstein Bears? Is it Luke, I am your father, or no, I am your father? Skeptics call it false memory, but believers see it as proof of timelines colliding. Time itself is unstable, then fragments of alternate histories may be bleeding into one another. Then there are missing time reports. UFO abductees often describe hours vanishing in an instant. Drivers lose chunks of time on deserted highways. Paranormal encounters often come with strange gaps in memory. These isolated events, or signs that time itself is slipping, glitching, and collapsing around us. Of course, the rational world has an explanation. Psychologists say time feels faster as we age because novelty decreases. As children, every day is new. As adults, repetition makes years blur. Add modern stress, media overload, and our endless rush, and it is no surprise life feels compressed. But there are cracks in this theory. Children today feel the same acceleration. Teenagers talk about years vanishing. The sense of speeding time is collective, not individual. If it was only psychology, why would entire societies feel the same way? Something larger is at play. Time is not as solid as we imagine. Einstein showed that time is relative. It bends under gravity and speed. Astronauts orbiting Earth experience time slightly slower than people on the ground. GPS satellites must account for these effects. If time can bend in the vacuum of space, why not on Earth itself? What if new forces are altering our local experience of time? Some theorists speculate about hidden technologies, satellites, or even weapons that generate small fields of time dilation. To the public, life feels faster. To the architects, it is a tool. Black holes provide a frightening model. Near a black hole, time slows dramatically. But what if CERN or other labs have created micro-black holes, tugging on Earth's fabric of time? Scientists laugh at the idea, yet the possibility lingers. This brings us back to CERN, the particle physics laboratory with the largest collider on Earth. CERN smashes protons at near light speed to study the building blocks of matter. Harmless, they say. Some believe CERN is opening portals, tearing holes in space-time, and altering the flow of time itself. Each collision could be shifting timelines in ways invisible to instruments, but perceptible to human intuition. People report Mandela effects, missing time, and a universal sense of acceleration. Is CERN the culprit? If they have destabilized time, then humanity is already caught in the fallout. But there is another possibility. That time is not just a physical construct, but a spiritual one. Ancient societies treated time as sacred. Calendars, solstices, lunar cycles, and rituals were all tied to controlling time. The planet Saturn, known as Kronos, was worshipped as the god of time. Secret societies may have inherited this knowledge. They may be manipulating global events to align with occult time cycles. Wars, financial crashes, even pandemics often line up with astrological markers. Could this be evidence that the elite know how to bend time to their advantage? If Saturn worship is still alive, then the manipulation of time is not just science, but ritual. Beyond occult power, governments may be actively engineering time perception. Frequency manipulation is not new. HAARP was accused of controlling weather through atmospheric energy. What if similar projects target the human brain directly? Theories suggest satellites and ground stations pump signals into the air, subtly altering our sense of time. If humanity feels days vanish, weeks blur, and years rush, then resistance fades. Population struggling to hold on is easier to control. Time becomes not just a dimension, but a weapon. Now add artificial intelligence to the picture. AI thinks faster than any human. It processes data thousands of times quicker, AI begins running our societies, setting schedules, filtering information, and shaping our digital lives. Our experience of time is forced to align with machine speed. Some argue that AI is subtly training humanity to think in compressed intervals, TikTok videos under a minute, rapid news cycles, constant notifications, all conditioning humans to live at machine pace. Could it be that AI is not just influencing perception, but accelerating our consciousness to merge with digital systems? If so, then the quickening of time is not natural, but engineered by the very systems we are feeding. Accounts of time distortion are not rare. Travelers have reported walking down a road and suddenly finding themselves hours later with no memory of the gap. In England, families have claimed to stumble into medieval villages for minutes before snapping back to the present. Pilots speak of flights that end quicker than possible, with hours shaved from the journey. UFO abductees describe missing time as a hallmark of encounters. Could it be that aliens or interdimensional beings are exploiting weak points in time itself? If so, then our perception of acceleration may be the result of interactions with forces beyond our comprehension. The Bible speaks repeatedly about time in the end days. In Revelation, the phrase "for the hour is late" is repeated. The book of Daniel describes prophetic weeks and days that may be codes for compressed time cycles. Matthew warned that the days would be shortened. Some prophecy watchers argue that this is happening right now, that our clocks read 24 hours, but God himself is shortening the days to fulfill prophecy. The countdown to the end is not measured in normal time, but in accelerated cycles only the faithful can perceive. Even outside religion, history itself feels compressed. Wars that once spanned decades now erupt and resolve in months. Political scandals emerge and vanish within weeks. World-changing events occur multiple times in a single year. Pace of culture itself has accelerated beyond recognition. Alvin Toffler's book, Future Shock, predicted this. He warned that society would reach a point where acceleration would shatter the human psyche. He called it information overload. But what if it was not just overload? What if it was the collapse of time itself? Look around. Technology constantly advertises speed. It's faster internet, faster delivery, shorter videos. Even meals are marketed by how quickly they arrive. Society has been programmed to embrace speed as progress. But is it progress or preparation? Older generations remember life in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s as slower, calmer, more measured. Diaries and journals from those decades record longer seasons and more stable rhythms. Today, those rhythms are gone. We live in a world that blurs. It is as if time itself is being stolen from us. Some believe this acceleration points to a climax. Just as a computer begins to glitch before a reboot, our reality may be faltering as it nears the end of its cycle. The Mayans may have been right. The world does not end in fire or ice, but in a reset of time itself. When the cycle collapses, a new one begins. But what happens to us during the transition? Do we ascend, evolve, or disappear? Are we reborn into a digital eternity, trapped in a simulation where time is frozen? Or do we awaken to a higher reality, free from the chains of linear time? The time speeding up theory is more than a curiosity. It is a question that threatens the foundation of existence. If time is not stable, then nothing is. The clock on your wall may insist on 24 hours, but your body and soul know otherwise. Are we racing toward awakening? Are we being driven into a digital prison, or are we victims of experiments beyond our control? The truth may be hidden, but the feeling is undeniable. Humanity senses the acceleration. The world is rushing faster and faster. The days are shorter than ever. And the only question that remains is this: when time itself finally runs out, what will be waiting on the other side?